this whole time we suffered here.
Sometimes Peter is being too dramatic, but I can confirm that this really sucked.
So I gave the order to Tommy to sign the document.
Oh my god, what are we doing? We are buying a house just like that. Hi guys, I'm Tommy.
And I'm Peter. Welcome back to our channel.
You might be wondering why we have a condo here in the city and a house in the countryside. Originally we only had this condo, but about a year ago Peter almost lost his mind here.
Yeah, that's true. So today it's story time and we are going to tell you why we actually bought our country home and how it all went down.
I always wanted to have a cottage at some point, and I think Peter agreed, although not as much as me.
I was like indifferent, no dreams, but I wasn't against it because it sounded like a nice idea.
Yeah. I guess the difference is that Peter lived in a house when he was growing up, while I lived in an apartment, and I used to go with my mom every year to a cottage during summer, and I really enjoyed those trips, so I wanted to continue doing that. But we wanted to buy something later on when we saved up some money.
There were no plans. It was like this idea in the future that we might buy something, but no concrete plans.
Yeah, for me it was supposed to be in like 2 or 3 years from now. But that all changed
in February 2019, so about a year and a half ago, we were sleeping in our bedroom. We always sleep with our window open because we need fresh air, even in winter. We have really thick comforters and we love fresh air.
Yeah, Peter says he would suffocate if the window was closed.
Totally, I would. But then, about 2 a.m. in the morning, suddenly screaming and lot of voices and noise outside, right under our window. And we were like, oh my god, what the hell is this? So there was this group of people talking really loud, smoking cigarettes and like having a party basically. So we had to close the window and we thought that maybe in an hour or two it will be over, but it wasn't. They were there until the morning. But yeah, we just thought, okay, one night.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, people have party, no problem. Next time it will be okay. But it wasn't, because it happened again. Next night, and then again and again, and we were like, okay, maybe they are on vacation here.
Because the condo is owned by a company and it was usually empty. Every now and then there was someone there, we could hear voices, but we figured maybe someone's on a business trip there or something like that.
Yeah, but then a week went by and it was still going on, like every night. And that's when we realized someone moved in, actually. And not just someone, but this terrible group of young party people. And you could hear they were really stupid. Like all this talking about partying and drinking and about drugs, and like they only lived at night, or I don't know, because it wasn't like until 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. It was like until 9 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, the strange thing is that the condo was alive day and night, because you would expect that they would go to sleep at some point, but we always saw people come and go, so we felt like it was some kind of a party apartment for them.
Yeah, we thought maybe a group of people got their money together and they rented this place just for partying, which was really bad for us because we couldn't have the window open and the quality of our sleep was really bad.
Sometimes Peter is being too dramatic, but I can confirm that this really sucked. I'm normally a heavy sleeper, but even I couldn't fall asleep while people were talking under our windows because they were really loud and inconsiderate.
Yeah, and it was very close to the window, so you could hear everything. If there were cars or something like this monotone noise, that would have been better. But people talking, it's like the most distracting thing ever.
Yeah, it's like someone's standing right next to your bed and talking to you.
Yeah. I started hating the night here. I was looking forward to having a night shift at my work and not being here home. And you shouldn't feel like that in your own home. Then we started looking for earplugs on the internet, of course. I did a research and we ordered a lot of them, but that's uncomfortable, your ears hurt. Then I found these custom-made earplugs. They were expensive, but I was willing to try it. So I went to some ear doctor. They had to measure my ears or something. Of course, there is waiting time for like 3 weeks. And this whole time we suffered here. Like we didn't get any sleep. We didn't even complain because we could hear that they are really dumb. And they are not living there. They are just having party after party after party. So you would complain and they wouldn't care at all.
We actually tried complaining.
We were complaining to the building administration, but they told us they had already tried to shut them up, but to no effect, right? So, because you know, in this country, it's really hard to get rid of tenants.
Yeah, there are laws protecting them, and even if they stop paying rent, you cannot kick them out.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. So it was really hard and I was losing my mind totally. On some nights I moved my mattress into the living room and I slept in the living room. In the meantime, my custom-made earplugs arrived. It was a bit better, but I was in constant stress and always listening if they are there, and even the quietest sound made us wake up.
Yeah, it was psychological. We were under constant pressure and we were always waiting when they will appear again. So whenever we heard the sound, we immediately jumped out of the bed and went looking out of the window if it's them or not.
Yeah. It's actually hard to explain how stressful it was until you experience something like that.
I remember one evening we went to open the window before we went to sleep to get some fresh air, and when we came back our bedroom was full of smoke.
Yeah, totally. They were having a barbecue on their deck and it was so bad. And that's actually what made me start looking online on house listings. And I was imagining how it would be to live somewhere in a house away from people, like get away from all this stress and start a new life, or I don't know. So I was dreaming and going through these listings, and then I stumbled across one house that was really interesting and really pretty. Like it had this private yard and a really large property, and I was like, this is so pretty, it's like from a fairy tale.
And cheap.
And quite cheap, yeah, because we were used to prices from the city. Everything is quite expensive here, but this was quite far from the city and the price wasn't that bad actually. Yeah, but it was all just for fun because we weren't actually planning to buy a house or something.
Not at that time.
Yeah, but I sent this website to Tommy anyway, honey, look at this. This is a really nice house. It looks great. But you didn't even open it, right?
Yeah, because Peter always sends me links and ideas on Messenger all the time while I'm working, for example. So I just closed it and decided to check it out later, and then I forgot.
Yeah, but then I returned from work and I was like, did you look at it? At that house that I sent you?
And I said no.
And I was like, come take a look.
So we had a look at it together, and it was really nice from the pictures. And yeah, we liked the price. I think you even messaged your mom immediately as soon as you found it, and she also found it amazing.
Yeah, because it was totally standing out among all the other listings. And I decided to contact the realtor. So I did.
It was really shocking for me because Peter hates spending money. And he wasn't too stoked about buying a house or a cottage before when I wanted to do that. So I was kind of grateful for those stupid tenants.
Yeah, but you see, it must have been really bad. Those times, stressful and everything. I wanted to buy a house all of a sudden. So I contacted the realtor and he told me that there would be a showing and that he would contact me later or something like that.
Right, set up.
Yeah, I was like, okay. But then nothing was happening for like a month and then for 2 months.
And in the meantime, the tenants moved out.
Yeah, can you believe it? It was such a relief because in the end they didn't have enough money to pay rent or something and they just decided to move out. And we were
so happy.
And we were so happy and everything.
Yeah, but it made us realize that something like that can happen again anytime.
Yeah, so we wanted to see the house at least. So I contacted the real estate agent again and he told me that the old lady that was living in the house died in the meantime. And now we have to wait for all the inheritance stuff to settle. So I was like, okay, contact me then. And then after 2 months or something, I got a text message that there will be a showing in 3 days.
That if we are interested, we should show up on that day.
But I was like, oh no, I'm going on a business trip on that day.
To Austria.
To Austria. So I can't go. It was supposed to be on Sunday. And we decided we would go there with Tommy on Saturday on a day trip. Just do some hiking in the area and take a look at the property from the outside at least. Because I wanted to see it.
Yeah. Because it was such a good opportunity. If you compared it to other listings, it was something completely else.
Yeah, so we went there, we saw the big field and garden and then house from the outside, but it was similar to what we already saw on the pictures. So nothing new.
Yeah, but at least we made sure that there is nothing sketchy around the house, for example. It's in a good area.
Yeah, it was a clean village, like we didn't see any problems.
We didn't want to lose the opportunity to check out the house, and I suggested to Peter, while we were on the hike there, that maybe his parents could come and they could pick me up and we would go together without Peter to check out the house. But then at the same time I knew that even if we all loved it and we told Peter that it's great, he would be afraid to buy it. So it still wouldn't help that much.
Yeah, because it's always up to me. I'm the one that makes the final decision in these things.
Yeah, and all other things.
Yeah.
So then we realized that it would be possible to plan it the way that we would all go with Peter's parents, and then they would drop him off at the train station on the way back, so that he could continue on his business trip.
So we made it possible, and we all went there on Sunday to the official showing of the house.
Yeah. We prepared Peter's mom, and we told her that she is forbidden to show any kind of emotions while we are there, so that we wouldn't lose the chance to buy it for the original price.
Yeah, because she was looking forward to it. She loved the house from what she saw on the pictures. And yeah, so we entered the property.
And Peter's mom was like, oh!
Yeah, because they showed us a smaller house first, and the real estate agent had told us before that the smaller house is in really bad condition, maybe we should demolish it or something, but when we entered the smaller house, it actually was okay.
Yeah, inhabitable.
Yeah, like we were expecting something worse from what he told us. But it was okay, and we knew that the main house would be even better.
Yeah.
So then they showed us the main house, and it was like totally, we can live there.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about some noisy neighbors or something.
Yeah, and we were generally pleasantly surprised that it was in a much better state than we expected.
And we totally loved the yard, surrounded by all the buildings, a lot of privacy there, and a large property in the back, the field and the garden. Yeah, because we were still in this state of mind that something terrible could happen here in the city, in the condo. Like, I don't know, always on our toes. Like, we were damaged from these tenants here, even when they had already moved out. To me, it was enough to have a large property, and I was like, I don't care what it looks like, I would build a tent on the property and just live there as long as I live in silence. Yeah, but everything was great, better than what we expected. So right there we decided we want to buy it.
Yeah, we were afraid that if we don't tell them immediately, then somebody else could buy it, because there were other people with us on the showing.
Yeah.
So we told them immediately, okay, we'll take it.
Yeah, and they were like, okay, we have to wait until the showing is over, so we are fair to other potential buyers.
We'll call you. Bye.
Yeah, bye. So we were like, okay, bye, and we will be waiting. And then they called.
Yeah, on the way, when we were going by car from there to the train station to drop Peter off, they asked us if we are still interested, and if yes, that they will sell it to us, and that I should go back to the city to sign a reservation contract on the same day, while Peter went to Austria on his business trip.
Yeah, because this train station was on the way from Brno to Vienna. I was traveling to Vienna. So I took a train to Vienna, and Tommy took a train to opposite direction back to Brno, and my parents continued to Slovakia.
The third direction.
Yeah, third direction. So Tommy was the one that was going to sign the contract for us.
And until that point I was very calm about the whole thing, but when I was then alone on the train going to Brno, that's when it hit me. Oh my god, what are we doing? We are buying a house just like that.
Yeah.
But then I calmed down.
I didn't.
20 minutes.
Yeah. So I arrived in this town where my business trip was. I arrived at the hotel, and I was running to my room to turn on my laptop, and Tommy was supposed to have this meeting with the realtor, and I wanted to be there, at least in spirit, no, like online. I connected, or you were calling me, or...
Yeah, I called you, and then I put you on speaker on my phone so that you could listen in.
Oh, yeah. So I had questions, and I wanted some things in the contract to change, and then I was satisfied. So I gave the order to Tommy to sign the documents.
Yeah.
And then there was no way back for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where, based on that contract, we have to pay a certain amount to reserve the house for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then once the reservation contract was signed, we started working on the mortgage and all the administration stuff around it.
Mm-hmm.
Peter found this great bank which we liked, and it worked out, so we were very happy about our mortgage deal.
Yeah, yeah.
So when did we sign it?
It was at the end of June.
So we took care of our mortgage during summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we had to wait for this inheritance process to end because there was a very old lady living in this house, and she was very old already, and her family wanted to take her in because she didn't have enough strength to take care of the property anymore.
Yeah.
So that was the reason why they were selling the house. But she died in the meantime, and now we had to wait for the whole process. But that was taken care of in summer, and our mortgage was signed as well.
We were a little bit sad that we will miss the summer at the house and that we would take it in fall. But the sellers were very nice and they allowed us to move in sooner than they were legally obliged, because there was still some administration stuff remaining, like to officially change the owner of the house somewhere in some registry. But yeah, they let us use it even when it was still under their name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were very nice, and yeah, so that was great for us. So we got the keys at the beginning of September.
Yeah, when it was
Something
still
like
warm. Yeah, to use the last warm days of the year.
Yeah, and that was it. We got the keys, and we now have the country house.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why we are not in a hurry to rebuild the place or remodel or whatever, because for us it was mainly about escaping from the city, getting away from people, enjoying the outdoors and leaving the stress behind in the city.
Yeah, so there weren't any plans to do something with the property. We were just happy that we have something other than the condo in the city. And if something were to happen here, like some terrible tenants again, we have a place where we can escape. We got lucky that we discovered this particular house that was in great condition, not that far from the city, but still far enough for the price to be okay. Because it wouldn't have been possible to buy something closer to the city. It would have been too expensive.
Yeah, or smaller. We see a lot of people on YouTube that bought an old house or a cottage or whatever, and as soon as they get it, they immediately remodel it completely from scratch.
Yeah, like on day one, they start demolishing everything and changing the kitchen, and we are like, oh, we are not doing anything.
Yeah, that was never our intention.
Yeah, we are satisfied with what we have now, and we'll see in the future. It's great that there is this potential that we can do so much with all the buildings and with the whole property, but there is time and we'll see what the future brings.
If we ever decide to move there permanently, then I would probably like to remodel the thing, because at the moment we still consider it like a cottage or a summer residence or something, but if we wanted to move there permanently, then I would probably like to have more comfort.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe in a few years we will decide that we want to move completely to the house, but we don't know. We have jobs in the city at the moment. I can work from home, especially now during the pandemic. I haven't been in the office for more than half a year, but Peter still has to go to the office every week. So at the moment we need both. We need a condo for work, and we need or we want the country house for the peace.
For the peace. But it's okay again in the condo, so that's great. But there are still traces of the stress in you, like we are damaged forever, at least me. And when I hear something during the night, I'm always like, oh no, they are back.
Yeah.
Like,
I keep hearing the sound of a lighter lighting a cigarette.
yeah. Yeah, so, oh my god, we'll see. But now we have the country house and we can say bye. We are not going to stay here. I don't know what I would do with my work. But yeah.
We could sell the condo and live off the money for several years probably.
Yeah.
If we wanted to. If we get desperate, we can do that.
Yeah. But it's psychological. It's such a great feeling to have some other place where there is peace and quiet. And what's great is that we really love the house and the property. We never regretted the decision to buy it. So yeah, we are really happy that we have it.
Yeah, we keep reminding each other all the time what a great decision it was.
Yeah, so it was fate that all this happened. We wouldn't even film our videos, I think. We wouldn't have started YouTube. I love how the world works, that I believe everything happens for a reason. Tommy doesn't. Yeah.
I'm too practical for that.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Maybe it's because like you always make the best out of the situation you are in. There is a saying in our language that everything bad is good for something. I don't know if you have something like that, but it's totally true. So yeah, that was the story.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Give us a like and comment below if you have maybe a similar experience, or if you have some horrible neighbors, or if you live in stress.
Or if you have questions.
Hopefully not. Yeah, ask us questions if you have any. Share this video with a friend so more people can discover our channel, and subscribe to our channel if you are not subscribed yet. And see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.